Alright guys, welcome to the test ride portion of the brand new 2024 Harley-Davidson Street Glide. This is, I guess, what they would consider the standard, but it does have some parts and accessories, or what we refer to as P&A, upgraded speakers, air cleaner, little trunk area. This is a test ride portion, so we're gonna get on it. We're gonna go down this twisty road, have some fun. Let's look at the freaking lights on this thing first. Sheesh. The Omega. Looks good. Let's change that mode out real quick to road mode. Start her up. Good on the mirrors. These mirrors are cool. Yeah, I like them. Oh, what the heck. You know, this windshield is kind of in a weird spot. I don't think it's adjustable either. I'm either down here or up here. I think that windscreen is a different one than is offered stock from Harley-Davidson. It is a Harley-Davidson windshield though. All right guys, the brand new 2024 Harley-Davidson Street Glide with the new body style. So new front fairing, new lighting, new tank, new bags. It does look similar to the previous one, but you know, they've done a pretty good redesign on it, made it a bit more modern, which I think they've done a great job on that. You guys let us know down in the comments what you think on the new redesign. While you're down there in the comments, do me a favor, if you guys aren't subscribed already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell icon also, so it sends you notifications of future uploads and activity. You know, if you guys enjoy motorcycle content, it's free to subscribe, and we would greatly appreciate it. Thanks, guys. So I just got done riding on the Road Glide and loved it. Street Glide, still a Harley-Davidson touring bike, but it does feel so much different. I hit that turn so I'm kind of having trouble with this windshield, to be honest. It's obstructing my line of sight like just a little bit. One of the things I do like to talk about, no motorcycle is perfect, right? And I usually offer a criticism towards the end of the video, but I'm just gonna go ahead and address this one at the beginning of the video, and that is the height on this windshield for me, setting at 5 foot 10 inches tall, almost dead in the middle of my line of sight where the edge of the windshield is. If it was down here and I was looking through the windshield, that would be one thing. But it's kind of on the edge, and since it does have a little bit of a curve to it, it's distorting my sight line a little bit, and it does make me a little bit more hesitant going into turns and whatnot, especially on roads that like I'm not familiar with. The ground is wet, and a couple turns there's like some dirt and some pine needles, so yeah. But anyways, the windshield does shield you from the wind. I'm not getting any like buffeting on the top of my helmet or mid helmet. Traditionally what I've found for companies that you know, make aftermarket fairings and stuff is a lot of times they'll basically make a fairing and throw it on a bike and be like, cool, you're protected from the wind. But what ends up happening is it kind of cuts the wind in a certain area, or it deflects the wind in a certain area to where it hits you like right on the bottom or like the middle of the helmet. So instead of it going completely over your helmet and you setting in clean air, you now have kind of turbulent air like middle to the top of your helmet, which causes you to like have to, like your neck kind of adjusts, you know, like even if you're not realizing it, but you're constantly making micro adjustments to like keep your head straight and to be able to like correct your vision. That turbulent air, that buffeting at the top of the helmet, that's what causes you to become incredibly tired. So despite the height of the windshield here, it is keeping the air off of my helmet, and it's like nice clean air behind this thing. You do have a vent here as well, so if you want to like close that up, you can close that up, which it does change the characteristics of the air behind it a little bit. Not an absolute ton, but it is noticeable. I would say having it open causes a little bit less turbulence. You do also have some deflectors there and there if you want to adjust the wind deflection, like for your knees. Wow, this is a totally different ride as compared to the Road Glide, like, because like the fairing on this one is attached to the forks, and so like as you turn, the fairing moves too, whereas with the Road Glide, the fairing is fixed and it's attached to the frame. So there's kind of a divided camp on these two bikes. You know, people are like, Road Glide is supreme or Street Glide is supreme. Honestly, it's like whichever one you prefer. The Street Glide, it does feel more nimble, but I think it's because there's just less of like this visual presence in your field of view, like in front of you, because the fairing isn't as big. It does block, you know, a good amount of wind. The Road Glide is going to be a larger fairing. It's going to block a bit more wind. And then there's the debate of actually feeling the wind, you know, in your bars.
Damn, that is a sweet motorcycle. Yes,
Sorry about the accent. Don't know why I did it. But yeah, hey, we're giving away this motorcycle, guys. If you guys want to get entered to possibly win this, head over to blockheadmoto.com, sign up, and select a tier. This is our season 10 giveaway bike. We've been giving away motorcycles for years. We've given away like 13, I think. Been doing it for a while, and it's all thanks to you guys, the community. So thank you guys for the opportunity to be able to give away super cool motorcycles like this one. If you guys want more details on this, all the details can be found over at blockheadmoto.com. With the fairing being attached to the forks, if there's a good amount of wind on the fairing, that will translate to where you can feel a little bit of that into the bars. With the fairing on the Road Glide being mounted to the frame, like, you're not really going to feel that in the bars at all. So a lot of people will say the Road Glide is a smoother bike. Me personally, I prefer the Road Glide because of the fixed fairing. I do feel that it is, you know, a pretty smooth bike, but that's entirely up to you guys to decide, and the best way you can make that decision is by going and experiencing it for yourself. So find your local Harley dealership, hit them up, say that you're interested in the bikes, head up there for a test ride. Harley-Davidson is one of those manufacturers that does encourage you to test ride their motorcycles. I feel like there's not a lot of manufacturers that really do that. I mean, just in my experience, you know, I've been riding motorcycles for over 7 years. I know with a lot of other manufacturers, you have to basically find a demo day, basically a day that they are set up at like some event, and they'll bring their demo fleet. So it's literally like 2 weekends a year that you can go and ride their motorcycles. But with Harley-Davidson, you can literally go to the dealership if they've got it in stock and you're interested in purchasing the motorcycle. You talk to one of their salespeople, you say, hey, I'm interested in purchasing this motorcycle, and they say, cool, let's go for a ride. Hell yeah. So with these new 2024 touring models, they are offering the 117 cubic inch Milwaukee 8 as standard. Just an absolute ton of power from the factory. On that note, this is a pre-production model, so there might be a couple things on this model that you guys are seeing in this video that might not be the same in the actual released models. So pre-production, there's a few things that they're working on changing. I think some of it has to do with the software for the infotainment here, which is a drastic change between previous model Street Glide and this year's models. Same with the Road Glide. So you've got this big infotainment screen, which is a touch screen. Currently it is set up in like just a normal gauge mode. So we've got the speed on the left. You've also got your fuel level, blank in the middle currently, but we can bring up some stuff there. If you have navigation on, that's where your navigation will show up. And then on the right side, you've got your tachometer, so your RPMs. Currently in the middle of that, you've got your coming into that one hot. Handled it like a champ. Man, I would love to have roads like this in my backyard. For those of you that don't know, I live in Florida and we don't have anything like this in Florida. I literally flew here yesterday. It was a 15-hour travel day. I'm leaving tomorrow morning at like 3 a.m. Travel time back is about 15 hours, so it's literally like flying 30 hours over 3 days to come ride some Harleys, get these videos for you guys. Yeah, hey, that's a lot of the work that we're putting in on the back end, so if you guys could do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, we'd greatly appreciate it. But man, it's all totally worth it in order to ride roads like these for a couple hours. Like, dude, I love my job. Honestly, wouldn't have this job if it wasn't for you guys watching, commenting, liking, subscribing. I'm incredibly appreciative, really grateful to be able to have opportunities like this. It's crazy to think that, like, you know, when people talk about the view from their office, here you go. All thanks to y'all. Man, the 117 on this thing, it's plenty capable. But if you do want more, you can have more. So previously, the 117 was only offered in Harley-Davidson CVL models and then the STs. So now it's coming as like standard, which is crazy. Originally, when they came out with Milwaukee 8, which is the engine that they use, the platform, the heart of the bike, it started out with a 107 and a 114. I think they offered a 121 as well. I'm pretty sure they still offer a 121 kit through Screaming Eagle, but now they also offer the 117 as standard, and you can also do a 131 kit. Yeah, if you want to really go ham and you can still stay within your warranty, you can do a 135 crate engine, which that thing is an absolute beast. I've actually got a 131 in my Softail Goldzilla. I want to say 161 or 162 horsepower out of it, and torque is like 170. Which is just nuts, man. It's a lot for a Softail. I am planning on getting a touring bike, more than likely we'll do a road glide. We'll see, and it'd be really interesting to see what kind of power we can get out of these. We'll do horsepower science, as we call it. I'm actually getting used to this windshield a little bit. I'm setting up a little bit more upright so I can see my lines a little better. I will say the suspension though, they do have newly tuned suspension, and the suspension on these new touring bikes is actually like I mean, that bump right there. One of the things I always say about suspension in my videos is that having predictable suspension, it gives you like that confidence. The suspension, it doesn't have too much bounce back, but it's not too stiff either. Like, you get a lot of confidence because it's not all over the place. You're not bouncing all over the road. It's not diving too much. Like, geez, those bumps, gnarly. But yeah, very predictable. I suppose I should go over the controls. Usually that's one of the first things that I do. On the left side, you've got your trigger switch for your high beam, low beam, and pass light. You've also got your cruise control, so press in the middle to turn it on. Set would be down, and then resume is up, or you can turn it off by pressing the button as well. You can also turn it off by rolling forward on the throttle or tapping the front or rear brake. You do have your options switch, which is going to change stuff in the gauge on the right. So if you press option there, we're currently in trip A and the average miles per gallon, so we're looking at 28.4 average miles per gallon. People have been ripping on this thing today, but if we press that, changes over to trip B and miles per gallon. You've got your ambient temperature, currently 63 degrees. We've got 180 miles range. Press it again, it tells you your tire PSI, which is super useful. So 42 PSI in the front, 46 PSI in the rear, and then press it again and it goes blank. So we've got compass here. I think the blank screen is just for like if there's an album or like music or something playing. I think that would also show up in the middle of the infotainment. We press it again, back to trip A. Press this button here, it's going to bring up the menu in the middle, which you can go into the settings, you can go into your favorites, you can do music. You're going to use the pad there on the directional pad on the left there to go to your selection, and then press in the center to make your selection. You can go device manager, sound display, system, ride modes, which you can change with this button on the right as well. So push button to change modes. One of those things that a couple manufacturers overlook. I think it should definitely be something that most manufacturers include. One button press to change ride modes. Incredibly convenient. Hell yeah. Plenty of power in this thing. So you've got like tons of different options here. You can actually change your gauge layout as well. And then on the bottom, you've got your left indicator on your horn. Beep, beep. On the right side, you've got your on, off, start, and hazards. You've also got your voice commands. If you have a Bluetooth connected, like Bluetooth headset, you've also got audio controls, volume up, volume down, previous and next, play, pause. And then on the bottom, you've got your ride indicator and then your mode button. So we're currently in road mode, indicates there in the lower left. If I were to press that again, it would change over to sport mode, and then it fills in as it changes over, which makes the throttle a bit more responsive. You basically don't have to pull back as much to get more power. So it's going to be awesome for dry roads, you know, nice and twisty. I can't remember if it changes the engine braking or not, but it is a noticeable difference in the responsiveness of the throttle. And then say I'll press it again, it'll go over, change to rain mode. I mean, you guys can see that difference, right? It is incredibly noticeable. So that's rain mode, much more muted. We'll change it over to road mode, much more responsive. And then if we do it again, change it over to sport mode, much more responsive. It's actually awesome that they offer modes now. So we're gonna change it back over to road mode. The handling on this thing is great, man. Like, honestly, what they've done with the touring line, the new suspension, the 117 power plants, the ride modes, like, it all adds together for like a really great riding experience. With the touring bikes, you do have other creature comforts built in, such as the radio. It does have Apple CarPlay. You can have like heated grips if you want to do heated grips as well. Seeing as how these bikes are purpose built, this is, like I said, it's a touring bike, so it's considered to be built for doing some long distances, crushing miles. So if you guys are looking to have a bike that's built for taking you comfortably across the United States or wherever, doing some long miles, gonna be the bike that's more purpose built for that because of that front fairing, basically protecting you from the wind. And then you've got bags, so if you want to pack some clothes, take a tool roll, you know, pack some food, some snacks, some drinks, whatever other supplies that you need for going on whatever trip that you want to go on, those are going to hold a lot of the stuff that you want to take. And they're pretty big bags. We're definitely going to have to do like a beer test, you know, so we'll see how many beers we can fit in them. I think we did that with one of the road glides that we gave away. I forget how many beers we ended up fitting in that thing.
83 beers.
Damn!
That's a party.
Dude, that's a lot of beer.
That's a whole party.
Growing into the bike, getting a little bit more confident. That's what you got to do, man. It's like you can't just jump on a bike and expect to know all the handling characteristics of it. You got to ride it a bit, man. It's like you're developing a bond. It's a bond between man and machine. Any bike that I get, I actually like to do this one route with it in Central Florida. It's called the Sugarloaf route, and it takes a little over an hour or so. And usually what I'll do is I'll go like 3/4 of the way, and then I'll turn around and I'll do that same route backwards. So I know these roads, you know, back and forth. I know them like the back of my hand kind of thing. You know, since I know the roads and I'm confident, it allows me to basically focus more on the motorcycle. It's kind of one of my rituals with any bike that I get is I always take it on this route. I don't make it like, you know, a ride with friends or anything like that. It is literally just me and the bike, and that's, you know, that's how I prefer it. Get a couple 100 miles on that thing. That way you know all the quirks and the characteristics. We actually built a bike recently for our guys, 143 cubic inch Milwaukee 8. If you guys didn't see that video, definitely be sure to check it out. Basically started as a standard road glide. So one of the things he did was he rode it for a little bit, but he didn't really like get on it. And there was you know, a couple people basically saying like, damn, right into a trailer. Well, honestly, I don't blame the guy. He basically bought a brand new Harley-Davidson road glide. He rode it 19 miles to our shop, dropped it off, and then we totally changed that bike. It had Ocoee suspension and Brembo brakes and a 143 custom tuned Milwaukee 8. Like, the thing is an absolute beast. You know, he wasn't like around his house. They lived a couple hours away, and he put it in a trailer because he wanted to get to learn the bike, you know, on roads that he was familiar with, not basically have to take a bike of that caliber into Orlando traffic. And I do not blame him one bit. I would not want to buy a new motorcycle, you know, granted a incredibly custom built specialized machine, and immediately go learn that bike in Orlando traffic. That sounds like an absolute nightmare to me. If you guys have any rituals like that where you basically like to learn your motorcycle, if you got a like preferred route that you take it on, comment down below, let us know. It's a hell of a test ride, man. I really don't know how many turns there have been in this whole thing, but it's quite a few. I'd be kind of curious. I'm sitting here thinking, man, the Dragon ain't got shit on this. I would much prefer this over the Dragon, and I said it in the road glide video as well, but dude, look, I mean, there's nobody here. There's no cars. It's all ours. Like, this road is literally all ours right now. This is just north of Fort Bragg, California, if you guys are interested in doing this route. I think I had mentioned ergonomics, but in case I didn't, I do feel very comfortable on this bike. It's very similar to the ergonomics of the road glide, obviously it being a touring bike. I do feel like the footboards are a little further back, so my legs and my hips are a little bit of a different angle, but I feel just as comfortable and confident. I'm sitting very upright. My hands are in a good position, and at 5'10", no issue, like flat footing it, coming to a stop, maneuvering the bike or anything like that. Yeah, brother. There we go. Here's some sunshine. Dry roads. That's what I'm talking about. So at the ends of these videos, like I said, I do like to answer 2 questions. No bike out there is totally perfect. There's always some kind of criticism, right? So I think my first one foremost was the windshield, but that's something that can easily be changed. So that's the first thing I would change. I don't think this is a stock one that comes on it though. This one's a little bit taller. So if you are taller and you can look over this thing, like, by all means, swap it out, get a custom windshield. The seat's definitely the first thing that I would change. Look at this little Walter White Winnebago thing. It's cool, man. Second question I always like to ask is, don't drive this off a cliff. Other questions that I like to ask at the ends of these videos, which is, would I buy it? Personally, I would buy the road glide because I like the fixed fairing. But if you're in that 50-50 camp, you like the fairing basically moving with your bars like this one does, the Street Glide might be the bike for you. Like I said, this one isn't bone stock, and it is also pre-production model, so things might change whenever you guys do see the actual release. We're test riding these things, checking them out a couple months before they are released to the public, which is super cool. And the route that we're riding these things on is just beautiful, so super thankful. But that has been the test ride of the Harley-Davidson Street Glide. Let's get one more look at these lights because it just looks so good. Let's throw the hazards on because this entire thing lights up as the indicator. Crazy. All right, guys, if you have any questions on the Harley-Davidson Street Glide, the brand new one, be sure to let us know your thoughts, any questions that you might have. I'll be sure to drop the link to all the tech specs in the description down below. Big thanks once again to Matt and Harley-Davidson for the opportunity. We're riding out here on these absolutely terrible roads.
I'll do better next time.
Yeah, do better, Matt. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. If you guys aren't subscribed already, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon also so it sends you notifications of future uploads and activity. Until next time, you guys ride safe out there. Stay vigilant. That is sketchy. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.